How are you doing? Good afternoon. I hope you're all having an amazing Create. My name is Christine Segrist, and I am the head of consumer marketing here at Canva. And we're going to have a great discussion today talking about the way visual communication is shaping how we communicate, how we create, and how we work. And importantly, how AI is really underpinning that. And we have a fantastic panel today with some amazing business leaders. And I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, but we love a good icebreaker here at Canva. So, ladies, as you introduce yourself, I'd love to hear, obviously, where you work, your role, but also one word that really comes to mind when you think about your partnership with Canva and what it unlocks for your business.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here and see all of you. I'm Sarah Koch. I'm Workday's Global Talent Brand and Marketing Manager. What that means is that my team oversees all of the talent attraction strategies for every single country that Workday hires in. And it's my team's role to localize where it feels authentic in every one of those countries. I've been with Workday for a little under 6 years, and when I think about the partnership with Canva and the opportunity it has for our business, the one word that comes to mind is empower.
Ooh, I love that. Go ahead, Jill.
Tough one to follow. Jill De Silva, Senior Vice President of Product at Engel & Volkers. So we're an international luxury real estate franchise. I've been there about 15 years. And my role is making sure we can bring products and systems to our network members to really simplify things. So that's my word when I think about Canva, simplify.
Love it. Okay, Shreya.
Hey, I'm Shreya Kushari, Global Customer Lead at OMD. In my role, I am the lead on the Canva relationship and growing it globally, as well as spearheading the enterprise partnership we've had with Canva. So thank you, Christine, for the business on both sides. And before we kick it off, a big shout out to my uncle who's videotaping me. So be kind.
Hi, Uncle.
Hi, Uncle.
Fantastic. Oh, and what's your word, Shreya?
Oh, my word is co-creation.
Okay, we're going to talk about being empowered, how to simplify things, co-creation. That's a great place for us to jump off. I want to start the conversation talking about visual communication. Sarah, I'd love to start off with you. You're looking after the global talent brand for Workday. How is this shift in visual communication, the way it's changing expectations, shaping your workplace and the way that you're serving your community every day?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've gone to any session today, it's no surprise that visuals are the primary language of communication, and they're here to stay. And we're seeing that going internal with our business practices as well. You know, I think gone are the days of everyone being able to get into a meeting or even on the same time zone. Teams are very geographically dispersed. You know, I have a colleague that sits in Singapore. I sit on the West Coast. I have someone on the East Coast, someone in Ireland, and someone in the UK. So being able to collaborate in a really dynamic way without having to worry about time zones and losing that 24-hour cycle if you were just sending an email or a lengthy presentation back and forth, that's becoming, table stakes for efficiency and productivity. A lot of the platforms that we're already used to, like Slack and Teams, think about, like, I can have a full conversation with my workmate, which is what we call our employees, in Giphies. I don't even have to have text, and I can convey how I'm feeling that day. I can have an emoji reaction, and it's a really easy way across cultures, languages, and time zones to communicate.
What's your favorite emoji?
Oh gosh, my favorite. I really like the. We have a workmate one, and it's actually work slay, and someone designed it, and it's like a workday slay reaction. So I use that anytime I can. When we take it back to the talent acquisition space, the modern candidate really seeks purpose-driven work and an extremely strong company culture. And when you are doing advertising in panels, in feed, when you're building interview guides, when you're thinking about that touch point from the first time someone sees Workday, digitally or in person, all the way through to when they actually become a workmate, we have to show them every step of the way what it looks like to be a workmate. Visuals allow us to do that in a really quick and concise way. We have over 600,000 applications a year at Workday. And so regardless of how far they make it in the process, our goal is to have every single person walk away picturing themselves through our visual communication. So it's really here to stay, and honestly, it makes our job a whole lot easier.
600,000, that is tremendous. We also prepped for this panel only in emojis, so I think that really that resonates.
That's a thumbs up.
Shreya, I'd love to hear a bit from you on this topic. So you are looking after clients in the world's largest media agency network. So you're really seeing these dynamics shift within your business, within your client's business, within the media landscape overall. Can you expand on that a bit, how you're seeing these visual communication trends come to life?
Sure. I think in our business, the one thing that is constant is change and extreme disruption. So as I look at businesses on a global scale, there are certain trends that continue to happen, which is an extreme fragmentation of the media platforms that are available to them, as well as an increasing level of being disengaged with content if it doesn't attract you within a megasecond, right? So those are some of the rapid attention-seeking metrics that we are looking to overcome with our clients. And so when we work with a platform like Canva, which is so heavy on visual communication, it makes our lives easier when we are communicating through engaging graphics. It just helps. With a team of over 10,000 located globally, again, similar to Sarah and when Jill speaks. It's just really critical that we have this one platform that we can speak to them across 14 markets. We've deployed Canva, and it has helped us integrate our team in a faster way.
Visuals is the universal language, really. Right?
For me, it's the poop emoji.
I didn't know we were doing this. Mine is fire. Got to go with fire. Keep us all, keep the energy high.
I'm going to go mind blown.
Mind blown.
And that's mostly
a good
because,
one.
and that's a big reason for Canva. I'm mind blown by what some people will try and do, thinking it's on brand, but not. So we hope to change that emoji over time with the Canva relationship.
Absolutely, from mind blown to fire. That's the
Right.
trajectory. Jill, building on just the delivery of visual content, we know it's critical, but also doing it with speed and velocity is critical.
Yes.
I imagine working across your global network with Engel and Volkers in the real estate space, this is really critical. Can you talk a little
really
about
critical. So visual for us is super important at many levels. So because we're a franchise sales organization and we also have customers giving out our message, from the very beginning, it has to be on point. And so for us, making sure that we are maintaining that across the board. It is one of our value propositions. Our consistency, our global consistency, is a very important value proposition. So with 16,000 advisors, independent contractors yet worldwide in almost 36 countries, it is a big lift. So our relationship with Canva is hopefully going to kick that off in a way where we make it really easy for them to get things quickly, get to market quickly. When you list a property, you have to get it out there very quickly. And so we want to give them the opportunity to do that in a way that's really seamless, but still give them the ability to do things locally. We can't have a generic house in some of these ads. They have to be representative of the local market, of the local clientele. So that's really our goal with doing it and getting it quickly. Content and, like you were saying, the speed at which we need to deliver content is always changing, and we need to get it out there and make it available.
I love that. So thinking globally, acting locally, critical
Yes.
in all businesses, especially real estate. I also want to just touch on, there's been a lot of big numbers on this stage, right? 600,000 applications. You have 6,000 folks on the direct line with your customers, Jill, every day. And you said, I think, 10,000 folks across your network, Shreya, 14 markets. I mean, just
But
these
if you want, I
mind-blowing
can give a
numbers.
six-figure also.
Get it, yeah, exactly.
Or maybe
We'll
I'll
talk
answer
later.
it
We'll talk
separately.
later.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
But when I think about visual communications, that shift in how we all operate, and then doing that at scale, I mean, that's really what the demand is now for us to stay competitive. Shreya, I'd love for you to talk a bit more about that, with strategies that you're using across OMD, this massive global network, bringing different cultures together. How do you operate at the scale required for your business?
Yeah. So, yes, we are the largest global media network. However, there is an appreciation of local cultures, specifically when we talk about the EMEA markets, but also APAC, which is quite fragmented from a language, culture perspective as well. So a great example is when we deploy our brand, and there are brand kits that are available at the global level. However, OMD Thailand is allowed to tweak it a little bit to empower them, to give them that sense of my culture is coming through within the larger OMD landscape. So the ability to have a standardization, but allowing a slight bit of cultural nuances to come in is what we think is absolutely critical for that. I think one of the key missions that has really stuck with us as we work with Canva is the freedom to design. And that comes through in the platform, the access that you provide, as well as sticking to protocol, right? Like don't color too much outside of the lines. The lines are there, they may be dotted, but just know where the lines are. So it's a shared philosophy with Canva when we look at that. It's an enterprise philosophy where we understand the needs of a larger mission. We understand that there are cultures that we need to respect. We need to have self-service as well. So it's that which drives us together.
That's really well stated in terms of building equity in a global brand, having the consistency. Consistency builds trust, but also knowing you have boots on the ground around the world and you have to operate locally in every market where you operate. Jill, I know you have a lot of experience in this
too. I just want
too.
to echo that. I feel like you just said everything I want to say.
I just cheat.
That's okay. She took my cards last night. No, but I think it's very much the same. Real estate is a local business, but we are a global brand, and we pride ourselves on that. And it actually helps everybody that we're local, that we're global. Because when people are traveling, they're all over the world, they're seeing our brand, they're recognizing it because of that consistency. And so we want to give everybody the ability to stay inside the lines. We try not to make them dotted, but also the flexibility to expose it locally as they need to. And we recently, so this is new for us, we've been working with Canva for quite some time, but we actually deployed our system to the Americas on May 1st. But within our first week, by May 8th, we had 1,700 network members who had logged on and actively made some kind of marketing asset. So, I mean, we think that was a really good opening. And we did like 2 trainings at the time because we wanted to just begin to get it in people's hands. And so we know that this future is going to be amazing. And we kind of have a roadmap with Canva as how we continue to engage the network, get people in, and showing them that we have. And honestly, having this roadmap gives us the ability to take the feedback. We don't want it to just be, here's what we're giving you, and that's it. And that's been one of the great flexibility pieces with Canva is we can react quickly. When someone says, ooh, this works, but, or someone says, I saw you had this in these languages, can we add this? We can very easily make those adaptations and get them back into the marketplace.
I love that. Congrats on a huge rollout. That's tremendous. And also I love that you have a mindset around flexibility and dynamism, again, while holding true to your brand and what you're building in over time. Sarah, I'd love to hear you weigh in on this from a talent perspective. How are you seeing the needs for scale and holding kind of that steadfast brand equity while also creating flexibility in your network?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 2 years ago, our team launched our new talent brand within Workday. So our employee value proposition and how we go to market to recruit top talent. Another figure here, Workday hires about 4,000 people a year. And so when you're attracting top talent, you cannot be everything to everybody. We really have to pull back on what is our messaging, what is our core values, and make sure that we're using the proper motivators in the proper region. So when we were looking for a tool to really roll out our talent brand, we needed something that had consistency, that would scale, but also allowed for us to customize for cultural competencies, languages, or just different motivators for different roles in different regions. How we attract a software engineer in North America is going to look a lot different than how we attract an account executive in Sydney. So when we were looking for a tool to be able to do this for us, we originally had 3 RFPs out. That was very exciting to manage. And the first time...
That's fun.
Yeah, super fun, yeah. The first time I got on with Canva, I'll be honest, the Spencer, I don't know if he's here, but he got on.
Hi, Spencer.
He got on, he said, oh, well, we're going to consolidate all of those RFPs into one. I was like, this guy. And sure enough, by the end of the RFP process, we consolidated all of our tools into one. So we were looking for a video editor, a data asset management, and a design tool that allowed our recruiters who are not designers, the ability and flexibility to customize their talent attraction assets. And by doing this, we were able to save Workday about a third of our budget, and being able to roll this out to our entire organization of 200 people at a third of the budget. So not only was my leadership excited, our recruiters were excited about a tool that was easy to use, that gave them the flexibility to really go to market in each of their regions and attract their talent segment in a way that felt authentic to them. Stepping outside of the talent acquisition space, it's still in there. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our employee base as well. So, we live in a world of skepticism, whether, it's someone in your feed telling you to buy a product, or, you're getting fed an ad, or wherever it is. There's always a sense of like, oh, is that really, it kind of seems too good to be true. And especially when you're attracting talent and on the space that we compete in, you have to have trust and authenticity with your audience in order for them to say, I could see a future at Workday. I could see a career at Workday. We have to spend a lot of time building that trust and that authenticity. Canva has allowed us to activate our entire employee base. We have 20,000 employees across the globe in a way where they can share their authentic experiences as workmates. They can do this with the different brand templates. They can use different photography in a way that feels really authentic to them. So, I can't overstate the importance of it enough of activating your employee base. And Canva was a tool that did it in a really seamless way while while non-designers were designing beautiful assets that they were proud to share with their network. So yeah, that's the importance of speed and scale for us is, again, being able to scale globally, having that hyper-local option, and that building that trust and authenticity through your employee base.
I think you've definitely paid off on your keyword of empower. You're empowering 20,000 people to be the ambassadors for Workday. And we talked about this a bit before. I think there's all these communities, stakeholders, customers we serve, but our employees are that first community. And being able to use these tools to really light them up and have them be the ultimate representation of your brand is really powerful. I want to go back a little bit to the point you said around the multiple RFPs, going on the journey with our friend Spencer over there. Thank you. And really thinking about consolidation. Ways we're asking our teams to do so much, to learn different things, to be the best at what they're hired for, but also to be empowered on all these fronts around content creation, around elevating their work. And I think when you can simplify the tech stack, that can really be an incredible asset to help people be more efficient and to help to simplify. Shreya, I wonder if you could speak a little bit to consolidation within your space, knowing all the complexity in the media world around technology and tech and everything you need to do to elevate your work.
Right. A great example of when we need to consolidate our tools and platforms is when we pitch. So the entire sales process of going after prospects, which involves multiple meetings over many months, and how do you bring together different countries, different responses, different questions. Sometimes they are video assets that we have to put together for pitches. Sometimes they are, documents that we have to put together, Word documents. So it is truly having a one platform in which we can track everything from decks, designs, video assets, doing bulk edits is extremely important in a pitch setting. It also helps us bring together a lot of employees who are in different parts of the world, speak different languages. So we have Canva Translate, which we use very actively during pitches when we are, again, talking through different languages and need to have a single, typically English response to the prospect. So it's great collaboration and helps to co-create. There, I used my word, Christine.
Ding, 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 ding. Good job. Yeah, I think you bring up first of all, anyone who's been through the pitch process can really empathize with what Shreya's sharing, and the idea of bringing a global network together on a common platform just can really save your sanity and drive a lot more effectiveness. This really kind of moves us a bit more into thinking about automation. You talked about translation as a key tool. I think anyone who went to the keynote this morning knows that from a Canva perspective, we're looking a lot at how can AI make our lives easier? How can we add automation? How can we free us up to do our best, most strategic work and really kind of automate some of those tasks that are more rote and really kind of drain us at the end of the day? So I know, Jill, Engel & Volkers is doing some really interesting things around automation, using APIs, and just helping to streamline a lot of that type of activity in your network. Can you touch on that a bit and bring that to life for us?
Yeah, I mean, that was really important to us when we entered this relationship with Canva. We know that we want our network out there listing and selling homes. That's what they do best. We're not looking for designers. We're not looking for them to kind of get creative, especially. But we wanted to give them the tools to simplify this. So what we're doing with Canva right now is we're working on integrations that will bring in every advisor's listings, their headshots, their collaborative logos that we have. And so when they log on, everything's there. So when they go to build a brand asset that has a listing in it, they just go and it's drag and drop. They want to, get their headshot to add to it. They go and they grab it and drag and drop. And then over time, we're working with Canva to create hierarchies so they can get support from an administrator in their shop who'll have access to all of the listings in one place. So the automation for us was really important, and I think that's what's going to continue to drive people back into follow the guidelines because there's nothing they really need to think about. So.
All right. Well, there's a great example of simplifying complex things. So that makes a ton of sense. And, Sarah, I'd love to expand on this more from a Workday perspective. Gen AI is powering a lot of the tools I know you're using with your team and your workflows to be more productive, to, save all those hours that you were kind of sharing with us earlier. So I'd love to hear some of these specific tools you're using and how that comes to life in your workflows.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in this day and age, if your tool and your offering doesn't have automation or some form of AI, most people aren't going to be interested. So it's just here to stay. And the way that we think about AI on our team as a creative team, we're split between, employer brand and then talent marketers as well, is we think of AI as another person on the team. It really boosts that productivity. It allows us across geographically dispersed teams to use shared whiteboards, shared mood boards, shared docs, Magic Write. So it's definitely something that really catapults that beginning creative process, because we all know sometimes that can be the hardest part, is like, okay, we have this idea, but where do we begin? So these tools allow us to really spark that. I think automation just in general and speed and scale, little things like the magic eraser, the background remover on video, like I said, we hire all across the globe, and our talent brand is our authentic workmates. When we receive photography from someone that might not have been done, by a full production shoot, being able to remove a little something here and there, erase the background, pop on our colors, again, that allows us to really scale our brand authentically while using our workmates as the brand. Things like that, those little tiny tools like Magic Eraser, Bulk Create, Magic Resize, on average has saved our design team about 33,000 working days. I know that's a staggering number, but prior to Canva, we all know the design tools, you had to be upskilled in that, and turnaround time for the folks that were upskilled for the more complex designs could take a long time. It wasn't just, hey, I need this, and you send it back. You need it, you review, you design, you do another iteration, and then you get the final asset. So being able to do all of this stuff in-house in seconds and sometimes minutes is where we get that calculation of the 33,000 working days saved.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think Sarah and her team should get an extra week of PTO. So I don't know if you're managers. I'm just throwing that in the suggestion box. That's a lot of time saved. You have my support in that, certainly. And I love some of the tools that you shared in terms of, the bulk create, the magic resize. I think a lot of that also reduces the queue for maybe you have a couple designers on staff that do that full time. But what are the things that we can do to empower people to make those little changes, right? So they're able to move forward more quickly and really show up in the best way. And I loved how you talked about AI as another member of the team. That really sticks with me. Don't know if I want to have lunch with that person, but I do think that that's a wonderful way about thinking about supercharging your team to great heights. I just want to pull one thread through in the conversation, which you've all talked a lot about your global footprint and the way that you're thinking about looking at localized content across all of your experiences and really bringing visual communication to life globally across your network. Sarah, I don't know if there's anything you want to expand on there from a global standpoint, or Shreya, but I'd love to hear some of your thoughts. I know, Jill, you've had a chance to touch on that, but there's this real global aspect of how you're bringing this to life.
So I think I can take it, Sarah. Yeah. From a global aspect, a big part of us is our social media approach and how we go to market. So while we appreciate, there are certain themes and points of view that are specific to certain countries, sometimes we have very global POVs, especially on data privacy or disruption trends like attention, media fragmentation. So when we have themes like that that need to go to market very quickly, we need a tool that can do that. And we've actually found that with Canva. We use it all the time for our social media launches, specifically around our new business pitches, because we need to be so topical with what is consistent with our prospect. And I will throw a number in now. It's my turn. We have been able to reduce our time for going to market in social media by 60 to 70%, just by the kinds of tools that Canva has offered for us. So for me, that's an example at a global level, how you bring speed to market effectively.
Right, and doing that in a way that's incredibly timely, right?
Yeah, and it kind of makes the team, while they don't get PTO, we are not that generous, we are an agency.
Just an idea.
Yeah, no more PTO, more work. We make them do more upstream tasks, more thinking work.
This is why we
look
go
busy.
in-house.
Well, listen, I think this has been an incredible session. I think some of the key themes for me, listening to everyone, visual communication is here to stay. It is a revolution, and we're having to respond to it in unprecedented scale. And I think some of these solutions and really practical insights that you've shared are really around how you're using generative AI, technology, automation, to really let your teams do what they do best, to free them up to do their best work, their most strategic work, to increase your productivity, and to be so much more efficient. I think, knowing we have these amazing minds and all of your great experience here on the stage, I'd love to end the session with maybe going around the horn and sharing what's one insight or piece of advice that you'd like to give to the folks here that they can take away and think about if they're thinking about consolidating tools, working with a tool like Canva, and introducing some of these practices into their work. I will start with Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said earlier, I cannot understate the value that you can put behind the self-service that Canva really allows your teams to have. What I've seen in our position is anyone that's working in an employer branding or maybe marketing space, you've heard that like, oh, they're the coloring department, you know, or they're creating these beautiful designs. And allowing your teams to have the self-service to go in and create on their own within the confines of your brand really allows yourself as an employer branding professional or marketing professional to move out of that execution seat with your stakeholders and more into that facilitating partner and more into that consultative partner. And then they get excited. They're more of a multiplier to your brand as well. So, you know, my advice would be, you know, set up your brand toolkits, set up your tone of voice, set up your brand kits, transfer your knowledge through those templates and through those brand kits. Watch your brand not only grow, but your stakeholder relationships improve as well.
Love that. Jill.
I mean, for me, it's kind of like, don't be afraid to dream. I see Courtney in the front row here. I'm not sure if Mary Beth is here, but our team at Canva, we've been talking to them for like 2 years, asking them, this is what we want, this is what we need. And Canva was continuing to evolve, and they finally got to a point where they said, we're ready. And we know that that continual feedback to them is heard, and then we want to do the same thing for our network. Give them access, take the feedback, and then we can continue to evolve. So that way, the same thing. They can get in, they can be creative, again, within the framework, but then they get excited about it and want to do more. And it gives us the ability to then grow and add more content and refresh templates on an ongoing basis. So just get out there and do it.
Love it. Just get in there.
Just get in there.
Shreya, what would you like to end with?
I would say that we have a shared mission of us getting closer together, even though we are expanding globally. And I see that with Canva, I see that with OMD, making the world a more streamlined, cohesive place to be. I work with the Canva team in Sydney, but it feels like they're with me in New York. And that happens because of the way we come together. It's the thinking of the minds as well as the platforms that enable us to do that. So for me, there's a joy to that.
Well, I think that's an incredible note to end on. I think we delivered on empower, simplify, co-create, and I love just get in there, don't be afraid to dream. Thank you so much to this fantastic panel, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Create.